Well, you can't find someone more in the property groove than my next guest. It's a very dynamic young property entrepreneur. We're here in Liverpool to meet him. It's Paul Nicholson of Luxor Group. And Paul, so interesting to hear your story. Tell us a bit your actual property journey, because it's just fascinating how you've grown.
Yeah, I started off as a lawyer, so I was working in the Liverpool city centre, and I was in the property department, and I was watching clients about my age also buying properties, developing them, and I could see how they were growing and being independent entrepreneurs, and I fancied, being a part of that. So I started off, because I was still being a lawyer, I started off acquiring 3-bedroom, new build sort of properties that would be let to families to bring down maintenance, and they'd let quite easily. But I did notice after a while the yield wasn't too good. So then I branched out into the smaller, cheaper terraced houses, and then started renovating them to add real value. And obviously with working along good banks, I managed to grow the portfolio, and then we started investing into multi-let blocks of flats.
So give us a kind of overview of the scale of your property empire, because I think we could call it an empire.
It's getting that way, yeah. We're at 155 rental units now, which is comprised, as I say, new builds, semi-detached properties, terraced houses, student properties, multi-let blocks of flats. In there's a 20-bedroom HMO, and now we're obviously working towards our larger developments.
Now, you're somebody that really believes in sort of focusing on your patch and knowing your patch, and that's worked well for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's very important to understand the area which you operate in, so you can understand your tenant profile, what their demand is, what their price point will be, and the sort of standard of property they're looking for. When we started out, we did properties to an average standard, and we were probably attracting the lower profile of tenants, but now we get in, do a really high standard job, and we're attracting better tenants, longer term tenants, and a higher rent.
I think, that leads nicely on to talk about your actual strategy, because I think what's so fantastic about what you've done is you found a real angle. Tell us what that angle is.
Well, as it says on the tin, affordable luxury is our tagline, and that's what we try and do. We invest in not the prime locations with the higher price tags, but more the medium, lower end, but do our finishes to a much higher standard than any of the other competitors out there. So when it comes down to a price point, for an extra £25-50 a month, it's a no-brainer to take one of our properties.
So how many years have you been involved in property investment then?
Well, I bought my first one in 2008.
And how old were you?
23. So I bought a 3-bed semi-detached property, which I still own. I've never sold a property. I then didn't buy anything else until about 2011 and 2012, when the market had settled down after the crash, but there were still some very good deals out there. And then through 2013-14, we really ramped up. And then we've now gone into a different level of development. As I say, we are actually developing properties instead of buying the one single unit houses.
So what do you attribute that growth in that kind of period that you've just mentioned, where you really ramped things up?
I think there's quite a lot of opportunity out there. There was some high street banks, willing to lend on good terms. Some of the deals out there, as I say, the prices were quite low, but you knew you could add some substantial value after, and we did buy quite a lot of repossessed stock, which obviously did help.
And now, today, we're joining you actually in your offices in Liverpool. You have your own lettings agency for your own properties, and you've actually launched a new development today, haven't you?
Yeah, we acquired a building a couple of months ago, and today we've launched the planning permission, and the CGI images have gone out to the press, etc. So it's quite exciting. So there's varied comments coming up in the local press, so we'll see how we go.
Well, it's fantastic. It's a very interesting time in property, because you're very much like me. You believe to buy and hold for the very long term. How are you feeling about kind of the tax changes and stuff? But clearly, if you're holding in companies, you're not going to be that affected. But you still feel confident about property? Yeah,
we are. All our properties are in corporate entities, but yeah, I'm very confident. Especially up in Liverpool, the yields are really good right now. And the new market we moved into, St Helens, we're trying to create a brand new market. The product we offer, we believe, doesn't exist at the moment. So, I'm really excited about the times coming forward.
So what would you say would be kind of the number one lesson or tip that you could give our viewers in terms of being successful in property? What do you think has been the thing that's really powered your personal success?
I've had a lot of attention to detail, I'd say. You know, I think that comes from my time training as a lawyer. Yeah. So, you know, I was always on site. But, you know, so I paid a lot of attention. I was always very close to the developments, etc. But as I'm getting bigger now, it's been hard to do. But actually delegating and letting go and putting other people in place, you know, that has really seen me go into a different level.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to record another video with Paul about the scene here in Liverpool and get some tips from him about that, because he clearly knows it so well. But thank you for sharing your very inspiring story, and I'm going to follow your progress with interest.
No, thank you for your time. Thank you.